Well, hello, and happy Saturday. I hope everyone is having a great Saturday and a great weekend so far. My name is Don Terrell, and I want to welcome you to another great episode of The Color of Motion, where I like to say stories come in all shades. And I highlight people of color and diverse backgrounds in the field of motion graphics, animation, visual effects, cartoons, and comics. And so excited for you to be here today, and really excited for today. So looking forward to the interview today. You know the drill. Make sure you jump on and say hello, where you're tuning in from, while I'm making sure that I'm broadcasting on all my channels. It says I am, but I always like to make sure as well. You know, we're here every Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can always check. I always get this wrong. You can always check me out on my social channels. You can always check out the show on LinkedIn, YouTube channel, and Facebook channel. Miss Elizabeth, I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you tuning in. Here to support her friend Scarlet. All right, we got some great news. So appreciate you jumping in to support your friend, and Miss Salve, support your friend Scarlett. We appreciate that as well. Yeah, and Don, of course. I appreciate you throwing me in there, but that's all right. You're here to support. You're here to support Miss Scarlett, so I appreciate that. Wow, Mr. Darren, Garrett, what's going on, my brother? Hometown Second Baptist brother. I appreciate my cousin now. It's hard to believe, but we're related. Appreciate you tuning in there, Mr. Garrett. Hope all is well going on with you. Appreciate you tuning in, Mr. Quincy Bulla. What's going on, Dr. I appreciate you tuning in as well, my brother. It's going, like I said, going to be a great show. You may have to give, if you are tuning in from Facebook, you may have to give StreamYard permission so that they can pull your avatar. You may, but it may pull your avatar as well. But if not, go to this link, StreamYard.com/Facebook. Give them StreamYard permission to pull your avatar so I can give you a shout out. As well. Also, if you do happen to be tuning in from LinkedIn or my Facebook page, I highly suggest that you go over to my YouTube channel, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, hit the bell notification so that you're notified of when great content and the show goes live. Looking forward to really leveling up the channel and putting on some great content as well. So I want to make sure that you're connected. So hop on over to there, subscribe, and become part of the Color of Motion family for sure. All right. So it looks like I am broadcasting from my channels. All right. So we are about ready to get it rolling. I want to make sure I'm tuning the channel. Yep, our Facebook is going there. So I've already gotten comments from all my channels, really. So Salve is tuning in from YouTube. So it must be broadcasting on YouTube. Gotten Facebook. From cousin there, Mr. Darren, and of course some LinkedIn viewers as well. So all my channels are broadcasting. Super, as I've been saying again and again, I'm getting closer to, I think I'm a couple of weeks out from unveiling the new studio and getting that off the ground. And like I said, I'm super excited to kind of unveil the new look, the new graphics, the new intro, a lot of new, great new things that I've got planned. And I'm going to be doing it live, maybe a pre-live broadcast midweek before I actually broadcast a show from it, just to kind of kind of show off the graphics and everything, so let you know all the new things I've got planned and moving forward for the show. So like I said, super excited to kind of finally unveil that. Seems like I've been working on it for quite a while now. Mr. Deppin Ho Game here to support my good friend. All right, we got a lot of friends coming out to support our guests there, so that is great. I appreciate that and appreciate you tuning in from YouTube. Make sure that you comment and give the video a thumbs up because it definitely helps out. All right, we are, like I said, good to go. And I think it's about time to introduce my guest there. Born in Philly, she grew up going to a charter school where they kept her busy working at higher standards. She moved to New Jersey when she was 7 after 3rd grade and moved into a new school where she was bumped up to the 5th grade. That's pretty good. For already knowing everything in the 4th, which made her younger than all her peers throughout high school. She took a passion for storytelling around this time outside of playing the occasional games. She was writing a lot at the beginning of high school and improved her fiction writing throughout her time there. She wanted to become a narrative designer, someone who could write the stories for the game, and the player could become visually attached to this and have that bond and connection to characters she created. She went to community college for game design while she was working and focused on creating 2 local games that were sold where she took part in the narrative for the projects. During this time frame, she also took a course in C++, something that she thought she would like, that she would want to look into. To her surprise, she excelled in this more than her peers and used her extra time to help them understand the language that came easily to her. I need to have her help me because C++, I just don't get it. After a year in community college, she began applying to universities, sending applications to 4 and getting accepted into all of them. She made the choice to go to SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, for their renowned game development program. Here, she was able to take a minor in creative writing while her focus shifted more toward programming games after creating a game in Unreal Engine 4. She continued blueprinting in this program and created new games in a course for Java, chosen projects in Unreal, and another project in C++. She is currently, well, this is scrapped right here. She's currently looking for an opening. And we're going to get into that. She just laid some good news on me. And so super excited. But she finds the feeling of creating different mechanics to be extremely appealing. Making something new that the player can experience firsthand makes the game feel refreshing and new. It gives it more capabilities and a larger spectrum on just what the game can do. It gives her a great feeling when she can get her mechanics to work because she creates a new thing a player can do, and watching it work is a proud moment. Coding just feels fast and natural to her. Yeah, like I said, I probably would have been the one she would have been schooling. And she can't get that level of accomplishment from many other places. Everybody, please help me welcome my very special guest and friend, Miss Scarlet Blackwell. Miss Scarlet, appreciate you tuning in. All right. And welcome to the Color of Motion. And I appreciate you being a part of the Color of Motion family now. A lot of great stuff happening for you there. So, and we're going to get into that. Like I said, what's been happening with you since she graduated not too long ago. So she is done with that. And now.
Graduating.
Huh?
Graduating.
Graduate. Well, like I said, graduating and now getting ready to go into the workforce because she's already got something lined up. And we're going to get into that a little bit. But first question, obviously, as a child, you were kind of studious as a child growing up, getting into a charter school and then getting bumped up a grade. Um, how do you feel that kind of, set you up for where you're at now, or did it make you feel kind of uncomfortable getting bumped up and being the youngest?
A little bit, yeah. I didn't want to actually get bumped up to fifth grade because I had like some friends there in fourth grade. I was in fourth grade for about 2 months, so like I was trying to make some friends there, and then my mom was kind of like, "You're getting like all A's, and like it's really easy for you. You can kind of go up." And then like I was kind of fighting against it, but that kind of, yeah, kind of pushed me up, maybe younger than everyone around me until the end of high school.
Okay. So are you an only child, or do you have brothers and sisters, or?
I have one sister,
Okay, okay. So older or younger?
older, about
Older.
a year and a half older.
Okay, okay. So what do you feel? I mean, obviously, going to a charter school, do you feel that kind of put you on the right path and kind of gave you a little head start for being bumped up to another grade, or?
Yeah, yeah, because they were a little more like, I guess they gave more work than the kind of work that the school was giving me when I moved over to New Jersey. So like I had learned a lot of things already, um, at the charter school, so that when I actually went to the fourth grade, then I had learned everything already, so that I was kind of, it was more of a review for me than anything else.
Okay, okay. So have you been, and obviously, like I said, during that whole time, you were kind of honing your writing skills and that type of thing. What type of things did you like writing about?
I think it was around like it was more the beginning of high school when I started doing my writing. I was doing a lot of creative writing, like writing some stories, getting some people to help me out with that, and then kind of just building up from there. Like it became like a natural kind of normal running hobby for me. So it was a lot of writing since the beginning of high school until kind of just now even, and it was a lot of just learning, pushing myself, kind of just putting everything together really.
Gotcha, gotcha. So being good at coding in the C plus plus and what you're doing now, obviously, well, I won't say obviously, but were you good in math, and just or what's the correlation of what you need to be good at, or what do you feel like gave you kind of that click with coding?
I don't know if it's like the math really, because like math doesn't really touch that far in until like later levels of programming, kind of like intermediate type advanced different programming. That's when you start getting math heavy into programming. But starting off with programming is more kind of just being able to adapt to a new kind of language, like being able to understand what one thing means and kind of like break it down one piece by one piece. So it's more of being able to kind of figure out how the computer reads a program and then be able to write it in that same sense. And
Mm,
that kind of came easier to me.
okay, because I have to say I'm, yeah, coding and just JavaScript, C plus plus, all that. I mean, I kind of, get it a little, but like I said, I probably would have been the one that you were helping to tutor along the way. So obviously, do you feel like since you were kind of younger than some and you were helping others, did that kind of play in, or did they kind of resent it that, oh, this younger person is can get it and I can't, or?
No, actually, they usually kind of just came to me for help with different things because they saw that I was being like kind of interactive in class and kind of like answering the questions for the teachers that other people couldn't answer. So it was more of I was the go-to person to actually get these different answers and things. So people would turn to me and get help with the programming.
Got you, got you. So how did your parents kind of play into? I mean, your obviously brain smart. Um, were they really? I mean, did they kind of encourage you in this kind of path, or did they just say? Did they just realize, okay, she's obviously like your mother said, you're getting all A's, so all this is really kind of too easy for you. Encourage you to push you a little harder, or what?
I guess it wasn't really like I don't know. I've always kind of grown up to be kind of like knowing. It was probably because of the charter school, like knowing that like all these different like deadlines and like kind of like writing all these different like reports and things like that. Like we had, I believe, like a weekly book report that we needed to kind of like turn in and kind of like fill out the whole paper. We need to kind of like have these different sheets. So it was really like an orderly type of workflow. So I was kind of used to that going into different aspects of my life to be able to keep going. There wasn't really too much of a need for my parents to keep pushing me in a sense.
Yeah.
So then I was able to kind of like keep myself like self motivated and kind of like keeping myself going with all the work.
So how was it? I mean, how was the I guess curriculum at community college? Was it enough to challenge you, or kind of, like I said, push you, or give you things that you hadn't thought about or weren't able to kind of figure out right off the bat? I mean, did it challenge you?
Yes. So I have some of these things. Like I have them sometimes. Like in there was one I like these different kind of teachers and professors. But I had one in high school that was kind of very strict on like because I was in a technical school, so I had my class as graphic design. So 2 hours a day, I'd have graphic design. We had a really strict teacher that was also kind of like a down to earth kind of guy. Like he would kind of connect with you, but like business as usual, kind of get the work done, turn everything in, and so it kind of like pushed me to have to like work really hard to like get these things right and meticulous and everything else, and that carried on to community college. I had another professor who would really kind of just like push us like really hard to get all these different things done. Um, and just like one semester that I had to write like an entire like GDD document, which is a game design document, which basically breaks down an entire game and how that works, how you want it to be built, the whole story, everything. It turns out to be like between 40 and 60 pages in one semester, just kind of like breaking down the game, all the different aspects. A lot of people don't make it through the class because of how like strict and difficult it is, but the kind of professor that can kind of be able to connect with you and be one-on-one with you, but still also having that strict mindset is like really one of my favorite kind of professors. And like it was really challenging to be able to get through it, but then afterward it was more of working with a team. Like once everyone in the class knew what they were doing, then the same next semester we all kind of grouped up to make one game at a time.
Got you, got you. So it must have been pretty early on when you decided, okay, I'd rather be on. I guess I'm better suited for the development side of a game than more the graphical, character design and all of that. Or did you kind of? I mean, you obviously you like writing, and so writing. I'm assuming you're hoping that that becomes kind of a part of what you're going to be doing, or what you eventually want to do with games, kind of writing and making the games. But did you kind of want to get into the character side, or ever think about that side, or were you kind of always, this is what I'm good at?
Um, I know I've had like a hobby in the past with kind of like drawing and things like that. Like it wasn't really like character drawing or like environment drawing. It was kind of just drawing whenever I felt like it, drawing what I wanted, kind of. And then I kind of like, I guess, got my fill with that, doing graphic design in high school because there was a lot of drawing and meticulous kind of things in graphic design to where it was, I knew it wasn't really my thing to want to keep doing as a career, something I wanted to keep more as a hobby, because I didn't like doing it all the time. So it was like me more wanting to be on like the back ends of kind of like games and not really on the more artistic side.
Yeah, gotcha. So what was obviously you did a year at community college. What was the motivating thing that made you, okay, I need to move from community college to a university such as SCAD? Or did you think about, was community college enough for you? Obviously, it wasn't. You wanted to go to SCAD, but what was it that deciding thing that made you say, okay, I think I need to move away from community college and try a university?
It was more along the sense of, I guess, just really wanting to, knowing that the game industry is kind of like strict in a way. So like they kind of are encouraging you to get like that 4 year like degree, that bachelor's degree,
Mhm.
to get into like the back ends of all of the like the gaming aspects, because it's either that or be able to kind of build a name for yourself and like make these different kinds of products. So like as I wanted to be a narrative designer, then I would need to maybe like publish a novel or maybe like publish like something like really big that they'd be able to like read through, something that kind of puts my name out there, gets me known by other people, kind of. So it was more either going towards like the bachelor's degree that was teaching me these different things, or stick with an associate's degree and then learn more on my own and kind of develop these things on my own. So it was more along the lines of wanting to learn and know more to have a better chance in the industry.
Gotcha. So what do you feel like, uh, outside of the game and development program, what's been some of the big highlights and high points that you've taken away from SCAD?
I guess SCAD really teaches you a lot of the different aspects of game development. Like they teach you basically all of the entire process behind making games. Like they teach you from the very start to publishing to making a profit to marketing to all these different kinds of things. Like it really teaches you how to know what you're doing in the workplace, how to actually stay in your focus while also helping other people, like not making it inconvenient for other people. So say that you were maybe a computer science major and you didn't know like the other parts of the industry, so you wouldn't know to make these different parts of the games like more catered towards the other like different like groups and the different focuses of the game. So like you wouldn't know how to make, you wouldn't really know to make it kind of like developer friendly,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Yeah, because you wouldn't really know what the other people need to do, what they need to go through. So you basically have been in their shoes, so you know what they need and how to get what they need.
So it's basically working, getting you familiar with working in a team environment where you're working with a lot of other people, and you have to keep in mind what you're doing still affects what everybody else is doing in the game. Almost like a movie or animating from a movie. A modeler has to keep in mind what a rigger is going to do, and to make the model kind of rigger friendly, and just knowing what every part does to make every other part easier to do. How do you feel like the I guess, social environment has helped you with going to SCAD and just interacting with other creatives, whether it be in game development or in other programs within SCAD?
Well, scad is definitely a big school. So they usually have like a lot of like collaboration between like the different aspects. Like they'll try and if you're kind of like a junior or a senior kind of working on a game project, then you can go and ask someone else in like a different department if they can help or like they can add some assistance. So it really helps you build up that network almost and also be able to get assistance on your games and kind of just be able to communicate between different sides. In senior year, you have this big project that you need to have like a group of different people. Sometimes you need to recruit new people, and then like they all work on different aspects of kind of the different games, so you can kind of build it together and then really be able to communicate and network with a bunch of different people from all over because SCAD is usually a lot about they're very keen on kind of like networking and being able to collaborate with all these different people.
Got you, got you. What type of games do you really enjoy, one playing and one working on? Are there particular type of games you enjoy playing, and are there particular type of games that you would hope to work on? I mean, there's all types of games, RPG games, or different kind of games. What type of games do you enjoy playing?
The times I enjoy playing, that would be more along the lines of kind of maybe like role playing games, kind of being able to basically live in this fantasy world, kind of like having a narrative is the reason behind it. What some of the things that really kind of draw me into the game is like the really kind of like immersive narrative that kind of gives you a reason to do what this character is doing. Like if you're over there fighting a boss, then like why should I care about fighting a boss if I don't know what's going on? Like it's like when I know kind of the backstory, why the character's upset, why the character needs to fight this, and it kind of like puts me more inside of the game and like it gets me more connected with it really. So those are more my favorite kind of games to actually play.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny, and you should definitely. And I don't know if you've checked it out. Sean Bellinger, I had on, and he works for, but he's a modeler, lead modeler for EA Sports uh, EA games, and we were kind of talking about really how cinematic games have become, just in like you said, developing this whole backstory, and it's almost like a film. Like I said, when you see some of these trailers for games and the amount of money that they put behind it is almost, if not bigger, than a lot of the films that they're putting out there. Is that what you kind of like about Unreal? Because I've heard a lot about Unreal and how it's really unreal, in what it can do. And even some movies out there are using the Unreal Engine um, to do their films. What is it about Unreal that you like, say, more than Unity, or just some of the other games and engines out there? Is there something about Unreal that attracts you more, or does it really matter to you?
I think it's more the user interface, almost because it's very kind of like user friendly to be able to like change these different aspects to be able to place in different things to change one thing or another to kind of put everything together. It's really like user friendly. Like it's not it's not like C++ where you need to kind of like see the words and then like watch it afterwards. It's more of me having more fun in the blueprinting aspect where you can kind of, it's easier to see and understand how to put everything together in Engine.
So you're almost saying it's kind of more visually intuitive, because like I said, I've seen some apps that, like I said, I'm not a coder or a developer, but like say a web app. There are some web apps that are just, you can get in and just really code a developer, but then there are others that are more like drag and drop, and visually you can put things where you want to and see it right there, as opposed to, getting behind the code and oh, I want this centered line, I got to word it this way, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so moving, and like I say, if you're just joining us here, I'm sitting here talking with my friend Scarlet Blackwell, game development. And as like I said, congratulations. Like I said, she just told me that she will be working for Epic Games. What was, I mean, how's your, I mean, obviously you're ecstatic for that, and it's you're excited about it. What are your feelings, kind of, just coming out of school, getting into the industry? It's kind of a scary thing, or kind of a scary exciting thing for students going into the workforce, and especially at a well known studio like that, as opposed to, say, a smaller game development studio. You're going into a pretty big studio. you know I mean, what are your feelings? How are you feeling? What are your thoughts going into it?
To be honest, if I am being honest, I would say that
Honest.
I'm not, honest, yeah. I'm not that scared about it, to be honest, because
Okay.
I've been, because of SCAD and the community college and even like through high school, I've had like this really kind of like strict regime that's kind of really been like broken down into like schedule. Is kind of like, even here at SCAD in like my last year, it's been a lot of trying to imitate what the game industry is going to be like. So I already have a basic feel for quite a while now of like what the industry is going to be like. So it's more along the lines of just going from one place to another, really.
Okay. All right. Well, you heard it from her. She's not scared and ready to dive right into it. Um, we're gonna throw some comments. Miss Elizabeth, congrats, she says. Miss Salve, congrats. Epic Games. That's a big step. Especially moving from just coming out of school. What do you feel like through this whole journey, your best, the best advice that somebody's kind of giving you that, you're going to be able to carry into Epic and moving forward?
The best advice that I've been given, or best advice that I can give?
The best advice that you've been given that kind of sticks with you, that, is something is like, okay, that, kind of sticks with me, and maybe you come back to on occasion through school and stuff, that that you'll carry into, you know, this job and moving forward.
I don't know. I don't. I haven't gotten much like.
Like from a teacher, or from
Right.
maybe your parents or something like that. Something that's kind of, carried you through community college, carried you through SCAD, carried you I mean, like I said, that you'll be able to carry into this, this journey that you're getting ready to start, something that you've kind of gone back to?
Usually through like my different kind of challenges in life, people usually kind of end up either giving me advice subconsciously, like not like purposefully giving me advice, or giving me like nonverbal advice. Because a lot of the things I follow are stuff that I've kind of learned and picked up on my own over time, working so much in kind of like the same, I guess, workflow. Yeah.
Okay. So do you feel like, obviously SCAD has prepared you for this game environment? Uh, do you feel like they've also prepared you, because now, at least for a while, it's going to be different. You're going to be working from home as opposed to working in the studio type of environment. So how do you feel like you're prepared and ready to do, that kind of, work?
The remote work or the
Yeah, remote work.
remote work, I've been remote for school for about a year now. So it's pretty like familiar to me, in a sense of kind of like being able to communicate, always check your emails, kind of just know that like they always have contact you always have contact with them, and then just getting all the work done, make sure they receive it and that it's in on time and things like that.
Gotcha. So for the people that, like I said, are maybe not game savvy, or, really into the development side of it, how would you describe, the day-to-day thing of what you're going to be doing and what you do, in this gaming space of coding? Like I said, if you had to explain to somebody, this is what I do, how would you explain it to them?
Well, currently I'm working on a game with my group in SCAD. This is going to be our like final project that we're kind of working on and going through. So basically, we work through like agile methodologies. So every day we have a a sprint meeting. We have a scrum meeting, which is basically you meet up towards the end of the day. Everyone checks in on what they did that day, and then we kind of like we have an entire spreadsheet list of everything that needs to get done in a 2 week period. And then every day you check into the scrum meeting, you go to your task, you tell the person, oh, this is done, or oh, this is like halfway done. You can take off like half of the expected hours that we put in at the beginning. And basically, throughout the day as we're working now, we can kind of work when we're free, I guess. And we work through a program that basically connects all of our files together. So we go into that program, we open up the game, and then we usually have like different versions of the game. So before you work in the game, you need to like make sure you have the latest version, all the right files are updated and everything, and you have all the things that you need before you start working. And then when you start working on the game, you can check out a file if you need to work on it or anything. And then if you've checked out a file, then you can basically work on it without anyone else checking it out, anyone else changing it or anything like that. So it's basically a main file in a document. You get it on your computer and then you can change it without anyone else needing to edit it. So on a day-to-day basis, it's more of opening up this project, working on what you've been assigned to do, kind of just going through the day, kind of just working on your assignment, and then checking it at the end of the day during Scrum meeting.
Gotcha. And this is in this game that you're working on. This is going to be in Unreal 2, or
Yes.
okay. And I'm assuming that's what That's what Epic uses, Unreal Engine. So
Yes.
um, going through SCAD, and obviously I've had a few SCAD graduates and SCAD students on. But going into this industry, like I said, have you come across a lot of women, especially women of color, in this kind of space that you're in? I mean, are
Um,
there a lot of women? I mean, are there a lot of women in the game development, in coding and in game development?
mm, um, I can't say that there are. I know that like from time to time I'll see someone in my class that's like, a woman or a woman of color. Usually it's more of maybe one person a quarter, one other person per quarter in like a 20-person class. So I'd say it's more of like 5 to 10%, maybe.
Wow, wow, wow. So, how would you hope to inspire more women, more young girls of color and what would you say to them to encourage them, into this space?
I want to say that like the thing that's really kind of like kept me going is I guess I do have like a bit of advice that I follow sometimes. Something that one of my friends told me. He was saying that it doesn't matter really what the outcome is, but it's more what you do with it. So it's not really about like maybe getting accepted or rejected by like all these different places. It's basically what you take from it, what you learn from it, what you do after that. Like you can't always control whether or not you get accepted or rejected, but what you really have in your control is kind of being able to keep working, to be able to kind of buckle down on yourself and like because if you like I know from my standpoint like if I get rejected like maybe like I'll be upset or something like that like but it's more you can take breaks when you need to take breaks but you can't really give up because like there's if you give up from it then it's nothing's going to happen anyways. It's more along the lines of kind of you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
So I keep working with the mindset that like working is working will get me somewhere, whereas kind of giving up will really not give any chance for
Yeah, any chance for
yeah
anything to happen.
yeah
No, no, I totally get what you're saying, and you know, things happen. We get rejected. Things, people don't like. It's more like I said, what you do from that point on, and how you handle whatever rejection or whatever happens. Um, and being able to, like you say, continue to move forward despite that, because things are going to happen. Jobs are going to end. Somebody may not like the work that you do or whatnot, but how you take it and how you interpret it and how you let it motivate you, I think is what's most important, and not to let that stop you moving forward. Obviously, going into Epic is a great opportunity, like I said, for you to even level up your knowledge and level up your skills. Where are you kind of hoping, um, this? I mean, what else are you kind of hoping on this journey? I mean, Epic is a great, obviously a great starting point, and obviously you're going to be able to learn so much just going into an environment like that. Have you thought further, kind of a little further ahead about what you may want your end goal, or what you would see kind of not your end goal, but a little further down, or what you would like to do?
well right now I'm starting off as right now software QA, which is basically kind of taking their software and kind of like running it through like different tests and kind of picking out bugs, telling them about the bugs, like being able to kind of write these reports on what I find and stuff like that. And then I can use this kind of like get my foot in the door and into Epic. I know I told my recruiters this when I was in the interview that I wanted to use this kind of as a way to get further into their company. After like my contract, then I can maybe like stay in that position if they want me, or I can move up if they want me. And I've been wanting to kind of like use this as an opportunity to get into like a good company with kind of like programming and stuff like that, and like something that I am really like adept in being able to do, like working with the Unreal Engine. Like I'm going to be actually doing like software QA on the Unreal Engine. And then for like the company that like uses this the most, like I feel like I kind of like work well with this company in a sense that we kind of they own the Unreal Engine, so like they're going to use it very frequently, and it's something that I'm very adept in. So I want to actually get to the point where I can start programming for them and be able to kind of work with them for a longer period.
So has there ever been programming wise that you just it took you a minute to kind of get it, or you had a hard time kind of getting it to do what you wanted it to do? Or like I said, for me, I knew a long time ago, and I'm going to tell everybody this. I knew a long time ago I did not want to be a coder or a programmer, because I went crazy doing that for websites for a while. And then to sit and find out I had a hashtag in the wrong space, and that's why it wasn't working, was just insane to me. And I know some people, and I had a friend like this too, they just think differently. Coders they see code and they talk in code. And like I said, for me to sit and try and troubleshoot something, and like I said, in the end, it's just a hashtag in the wrong space, just doesn't sit well with me. So has there ever been something that it wasn't working for you, and you struggled with it for a little bit to figure out what it was that was giving you problems in the code or developing it? You can laugh. I have to laugh at it myself.
No, I laugh at this because this is probably one of like the biggest on running jokes with programmers, is because it doesn't really matter like where you are in programming. Like you're always gonna have those points where you're just like looking at code for like hours and like you can't really figure it out, and then you realize that it's like this small problem that you
so you get it.
Yeah.
But coders like that though. For some reason they like, they like coding so much they'll sit and try and figure it out. Me, I'm like, that's why I don't have no hair. So for me it's just crazy. What was it what's the longest it's taken for you to kind of figure out like something minor? You've been sitting staring at it for a while trying to figure it out, and it turns out to be something.
I'm trying to remember. Sometimes the minor things like take as long as like the big things. Like I've had these moments way too many times that there's just a long list of all of the times that I've just sat there for a long period of time trying to figure out what was wrong. But basically what it does is it kind of like builds up your debugging skills so that you know better ways in which to find where the problem is wrong. Sometimes they have like different like helper things that like give you like a red underline for like how they do like Microsoft Word, like give you a red underline like this is the wrong word or something. they'll put like a red underline somewhere and like maybe an error code that sounds like complete jargon and like anyone to anyone. But you slowly start to learn and understand what that jargon means and can really kind of try and pinpoint the problem, or sometimes the problem is unavoidable.
But
And
obviously,
you just have to look around, yeah, for a long time.
obviously, you enjoy kind of figuring that out. You know, it's
It's
sit and do it. You obviously, and if you're going to sit and be a developer, obviously you enjoy kind of the troubleshooting, figuring it out type of thing. You know, me, I'm just like I said. I guess my patience is just, I don't know. I'm guess I'm more visual than I am, just word based. Like I said, sitting coding and going through like if and or it.
yeah. That's why I
That
really like the Unreal Engine,
you know,
because you don't need to put like all those different like parentheses and brackets and like if and
yeah.
whatever else. Yeah. There's all like there's just nodes, so it's kind of like it's very visual. Like once you get to recognize all these different um like nodes in there, it's kind of just like little boxes that are like it's just that text just in a box. So it's very visual. It's very visual,
Uh,
and it's not so much enjoying the whole long process and stress of trying to find the problem. There's more enjoyment in kind of when you finally fix it, and then like you just have like this high of just like, oh, finally, it's gonna. I don't
oh,
know, like on the game we're working on now, just like we've been working on it for maybe 17 weeks, maybe. And I've fixed at least like 60, 70 bugs in the game. Um,
oh.
so it's a lot of me trying to look through the code, understand like the jargon of like the errors that it's giving me, and like they have like each different like coding language has like a print line of such, and then just like print this out on the page like once it hits. Um, and those are very important because it tells you where it is in the code and like where exactly it's breaking. So it's more of trying to pinpoint a location. It's like
Mm.
playing hot cold with.
Well, I mean, so
Um,
with me, I mean, it's like, but you're not looking when you're developing, you're just looking strictly at the code and the language of it. You're not looking, and obviously, if it works and if the code works, you don't get an error. But say like okay, After Effects. Like when I use After Effects, they do have a scripting language that if I wanted to write a script for it to do something, I could write a script. But then I see visually, that it's working visually. You're not seeing anything visual that it's working, other than that it doesn't give you an error, right? Okay,
mm,
see, that's where I can't.
yeah,
Like I said,
that's why there's a lot of bugs in games because it's just like it doesn't give you an error and it runs, but it's like you just have to kind of run through each part of it, and it's like at one point you'd be like, oh, that's not supposed to work that way. Then you gotta like go back and figure out why it's not working the way you wanted it to. And it's like bugs are just pretty much um a coder putting in something wrong. Like it's not really like the system really going off or anything. It's bugs are more kind of just maybe you put something in the wrong place, or like maybe this runs before that one, so it kind of appears in a weird way. And it's it's harder to really find bugs sometimes because sometimes they're really kind of obscure, which is why I'm kind of like in the QA position, because the QA position, why they have it is because it's just people trying to run through the program in weird ways to try
Yeah.
and see if something doesn't work as it was intended to.
So basically, taking it through its paces just to see what comes up and what
Yeah.
issues you do have. So, yeah. And for, I guess, people that don't maybe know QA, quality assurance, knowing that it's working and that all the bugs are shaken out of it before, it's passed on. Uh, Again, everybody that's tuning in, we've been having a great conversation with Scarlet Blackwell. Um, like I said, and I told you earlier, I'm super, super excited for this beginning journey that you're going on because one, I know you're gonna learn so much and really get a foothold uh, in this industry. Um, and obviously, it's an industry that you love and have a passion for. Have you ever thought about anything outside of, you know, games or what you want to, any other profession outside of this that you maybe wanted to do or thought about doing?
Um, Weirdly enough, something completely different. I've thought about like psychology, um, and like working kind of with like how the mind works, I guess. So I guess it's kind of similar with programming, like
Yeah.
putting something together, how program works, like how the mind works. Like it's kind of, I don't know. I find the mind like fascinating. Regardless.
Obviously, no, I definitely agree with you. And side note, you should definitely check out Jim Quick's Limitless book. He talks about the mind and how the mind works and how to remember how you can get better at reading and retaining information. I'm real big on neural linguistics and how the mind kind of retains too. So I can appreciate that. And it's interesting that that's a side thing that you wanted to. So you never know, you may get off into it. Um, Definitely being an engineer and a developer uh, plays into the psychology of how your mind works because like I said, I think developers and coders just think differently and see things differently, so um, I can appreciate that. uh, like I said, we have gone into this top of the hour, and then, like I said, it's been such a great conversation for sure. Uh, Everybody, please make sure, like I said, that you do chime in. Miss Elizabeth's been kind of laughing at me, laughing in the background. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. I'm just, like I said, for me, like I said, I figured out a long time ago. I just don't have the patience to sit, code, and develop and try and debug something. So I would much rather hire somebody that enjoys it and that's better at it, way better at it than me. Um, if which you kind of talked about this a little bit, but if you were to, which I think I did ask you, giving advice to somebody else, if you were to, and you're not long out of, you're just starting your journey, so you're still kind of young. But if you were to go back to, say, your 7, 8 year old self and have the ability to stand in front of yourself at that age, is there something that you would tell that younger you?
I'd probably say that I guess mental health is as good as physical health. Because without kind of like that mental like stability, then it's harder to kind of get to what you want to work on. Like it's really important that you kind of like make sure to take care of yourself, like especially in like I'm doing like programming, which is like a really kind of like stress inducing job, as you know already.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's definitely important to kind of like make sure that you are able to do the work that you've been given. Like it's definitely as important and not always like paid attention to in a sense until like you start getting like that burnout and like you start getting all these other all this other type of stuff.
So how do you avoid the burnout and just the stress of what, like you said, it is a stressful thing what you're doing. So how do you now enjoy, kind of alleviate the stress and the burnout? What other things? Like I said, obviously it's best to have things outside of what you're doing to kind of, you know, uh, relax you and de-stress you. What things do you enjoy doing now that kind of give you that time to kind of decompress or de-stress from, just the day-to-day things that you're working on?
I guess like just doing things that you find satisfaction from. Like you need to make sure that you're putting the things in your life that you like find the satisfaction from. You get um this joy from doing like at the end of the day. So it's for me it's more just kind of like just playing with friends regularly, like being able to kind of like enjoy their presence and like being able to have fun with them, and then just like put maybe like some of my responsibilities like out of my mind. Like I try and get everything for me. I try and get everything done at like the towards the beginning of the day. So like later on in the day, I won't have to like worry about it as much. I can kind of put it out of my mind because it's done for the day. Like it's I can be able to unwind and just be able to appreciate the friends around me and kind of being able to live in the moment and be able to recharge and have fun with doing some other things.
Gotcha. Well, like I said, it's been, and I'm not gonna keep you for a long time. And we made it through the interview without your Wi-Fi going down, so that was a good thing. But again, like I said, I'm just super excited for you, um, uh, Scarlet, and super proud that, like I said, even before you graduated, you got something going, and all it really takes is getting a foot in the door to really kind of get yourself going into that step. So I'm super excited for you and super excited to see what's going to come from you. Everybody, like I said, it's definitely want to make sure that you connect with Scarlett and keep an eye on her journey, because it's going to be a great one. Make sure that you connect with her on LinkedIn. Like I said, Scarlet Blackwell. You can also check out her site, because I'm sure once you get the game together, you'll be promoting it there. And definitely want to see what kind of games are going to be coming from you, for sure, with that type of motivation and psychology behind your developing. I can only be I can't imagine what kind of role playing games that you'll be coming out with, for sure. Like I said, I like video games, but I know for me, I have to keep them very limited, because I can get easily, just like a lot of people, get easily lost just playing a good video game. So I don't have a whole lot of them on my computer, and definitely don't have like PlayStation or anything like that now. But there are some good ones out there. I do like Gods Among Us. That's a good one. I like that one. Uh, but like I said, with some of the games out there now, what I find fascinating is, like I said, just the grand scale of where games have gone to now. Like I said, some of the trailers are they're just film quality. So there's a lot of money in games. People are really putting in a lot of money in games, and there's a lot of development going into game engines and real time engines, for sure, have really taken hold. So I'm super excited to see what you're going to come up with, what you're going to develop, and the type of tools that And I know it's not going to take long for you to move up in EA for sure, or EA Epic.
Epic.
At EA, I was thinking EA Epic, Epic Games, and you're right. They do own Unreal, right? Epic.
Mm,
So yeah, they've Unreal has definitely carved out a big niche in film, and just the realism in what it can do, more so than Unity has. I think Unity's good, but I think Unity is more independent type of small uh, developers that are trying to develop their own game. And Unity has really kind of gone for that film studio type of use. So it's going to be interesting to see where they take Unreal for sure. Uh, so with that, like I said, everybody, please make sure that you connect with Scarlett. Keep following her. Check out her work. Like I said, we only expect big things from you, and I want to thank you so much for taking a little time to be on the show, and as always, taking a little time to be a part of the Color of Motion family. So I thank you for that, Scarlett.
yeah, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm able to be on here. So
Well, you're definitely going to have you back, like I said, as your journey, like I said, continues, because I know, um, like I said, I can only imagine, uh, like I said, you're very, very smart, very astute, and very focus driven person. So I can only imagine how you're going to be after, 5, 6, 7 years working in that type of environment or in other environments, and how you're going to be. So it'll be interesting to have you back. Like I said, to see the growth that you've done over this time.
yeah, I'm, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. All right. Well, if you could, uh, if you have a few moments, if you could hang out for just a few moments, in the green room while I close this out, and I can, like I said, thank you again, uh, in the right way. Like I said, if you have a few moments.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Everybody, like I said, this has been a great show. Please, again, give my guest and friend a warm thank you. Definitely plan on having her back on the show for sure. But we all want to wish her well on this beginning journey that she's on. So, thank you, Scarlett, for being on the show. Like I said, just hang out for just a few minutes while I close this out and jump back on. And like I said, thank you again properly. So, thank you, Scarlett.
Thank you.
Everybody, this has been a great show. And I always find it fascinating. Like I said, I'm more like I'm a creative, so I tend to stay on the creative side. But I always find it fascinating, people that, like I said, are production people, developers, more on the other side of it, where they're not, like I said, necessarily creating artwork or the graphics or anything like that. And they all work in tandem. Like I said, the developer needs to know what the graphic person or the content creator needs, and the content creator needs to be able to, uh, work with the developer and let them know what they need. And that was the thing. Uh, you ought to check out, if you're on one side or the other, you ought to check out the Pixar story. And that was the one thing that I really kind of liked about how Pixar, and I said this myself, if I had a company, I would love to set it up. If I had a large company like that with, developers, creative people, and that type of thing, that's the type of way I would like to set it up. And the way he set it up was he set it everybody in one location, developers, creative people, writers, so that everybody fed off of everybody else and everybody was able to collaborate and pick up this or pick up that from each other. And I think that's how a great company works. They all tend to feed, every department tends to feed off of each other and can help each other. So I always, like I said, find it felt interesting talking with developers and coders and things like that, because they just think differently than how I think or how I see. But having that perspective is always a good thing. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, all these links will be in the show notes on YouTube. So make sure that you jump over there and get all the links. Again, the link to connect with my YouTube channel, go to youtube.com/Don Terrell. Highly recommend that you subscribe, hit the bell notification, like I said, so that you will be notified of when great new content comes up. You can get all the show notes there and everything, and see all the other great content that I have planned coming up for sure. Again, you can connect with me on, which is this. Let me take this down. See, this is why I'll be so glad when I get to the new system, because everything moves. Everything's going to move so much better. Email me at don.terrell@dggraphics.com. You can connect with me again on all my social channels, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, where the broadcast is, where the show is broadcast to. You can connect with me there as well. Love to hear from you. If you have any type of ideas or guest ideas, please shoot them over to me. I always want to know. Like I said, I'm just super excited to be unveiling the new setup soon. Like I said, everything is kind of moving along. I think I'm about another week or so, another 2 weeks out before I'm ready to kind of unveil it. I had to work out some bugs. I like how I slid that in there. I had to work out some bugs in the system I was working on, so that took me a while. Like I said, and see, that's the prime example. I think I've spent like 2 weeks almost trying to work out a a glitch in Ecamm, and it turned out I needed another delay in one of the scenes. So it would turn out to be something small, but it took me forever to figure it out and get some help. So thank you, Ecamm community. So with that, please make sure that you tune in next week, same time, Saturday, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's going to be a great, another great show coming up. Got my good friend, Mr. Michael Morgan, senior character animator with Sony Picture Imageworks, does some awesome work. So super, super excited to be sitting down with him and showing some of his work, chopping it up with him and talking animation. It's going to be fun. So make sure, again, you tune in next week. It's going to be a great show. Look forward to seeing everybody there. Again, please make sure you go to the YouTube channel and, like I said, comment on the show. Give it a thumbs up. That always helps. So with that, I hope everybody has a great rest of the day, a great weekend, and a more productive week. And I look forward to seeing everyone back here next week. Peace.